Fancy restaurant, perfect table, and no seat for me. Orders of Wagyu, a 2015 Bordeaux, rehearsed laughter. When the check lands in front of me, I understand. They didn't invite me to dinner. They invited my wallet. Today, I'm not paying the price of disrespect. I stop at the entrance of the Carmo and Company, fingers clutching the small leather clutch. By the amber light of the antique chandeliers, I see them inside, laughing, glasses raised as if celebrating a secret. My family, the maitre d', welcomes me with a practiced smile. In whose name, madam? Before I can answer, my mother's voice cuts through the room. Ah, finally she arrived. A few heads turn. I feel the weight of curious gazes as I move forward, the dry click of my heels marking the marble step by step. The black dress I chose is simple and fitted, the kind that suggests sex, does not make it clear. They occupied the best table in the house, the one with a view of the luminous outline of the center, a horizon that, one day, I wanted to inhabit. My mom. Cousin Lucas, his wife, food. The light catches a glow on the ruby pendant in my mother's lap, a gift from my father, before cancer took him during my sophomore year of college. I reach the table and stop. What they pretend not to notice jumps out at me. There is no chair for me. Lucas sprawls comfortably, one arm hanging over the backrest, the other holding a glass of something amber and expensive. A crooked smile comes before he says, "This table ice off the family," he says loud enough to cross the room. "See if you can find a place outside." The couple at the next table interrupts their conversation. The discomfort is palpable. "Don't take it personally, Rafa," Bia says sourly, sweetening her voice. "Lucas is joking. It's not. We all know that." I don't answer. Unhurriedly, I pull out a chair from another table. The shuffle of my feet on the floor scratches the piano music. My mother avoids my eyes. Helena, which was once the backbone of the house, is now just another vertebra accommodating the nephew's pose. He smooths the napkin, smoothing out wrinkles that don't exist. "You're late," he says, as if arriving 15 minutes before could break the decades-old narrative. I sit on the displaced chair. Traffic, I lie. The truth, that I spent 20 minutes in the car deciding whether to get in or not, wouldn't give me any advantage. The glasses clash and a memory burns. Without invitation. 4 years AGO, room, reduced to bare walls. Boxes stacked beside the door with everything I owned. "This whole thing with you is just a phase," my father said, leaning against the doorframe. "You weren't angry, worse, disdainful. When reality hits, you come back." That day I moved into an apartment so small that the kitchen table became my first office. 18-hour days, microwaved ramen noodles that sparked if they went too long, and the company was growing 1 customer at a time. That first Christmas, I called home. I heard laughter, silverware, and glasses on the other end as my mother explained that it was just one little thing among a few. A few who they didn't include me. When I closed my first 6-figure contract, I wanted to call. Instead, I opened a bottle of champagne with the 2 people who believed in me from the beginning, and we toasted to those who keep going even when no one applauds. "Rafa? Earth calling?" Lucas snaps his fingers in front of my face. "Pisco, face. Hey? We were talking about St. Barth," Bia says, twisting her diamond bracelet. "We went in January. A family of European bankers stayed at the same resort. I take a sip of water. 3 days ago, my mother's phone call broke our routine of protocolary monthly check-ins. I miss you so much, daughter. Everyone misses you." The tone said more insolence than words. Loneliness is persuasive, and a buried part of me still longed a place at that table. Now I see the brightness of new Rolex Lucas's watch as he gestures, a watch that would cost more than the rent on my first office, that studio apartment. The back footrests on an empty chair, purposefully displayed, the brand facing outward like a neon sign. Their conversation jumps from exclusive beaches to luxury shopping with the nervous rush of actors who have forgotten their next line. I don't join the choir, I watch. The waiter arrives with the coffee. I hug the hot cup and watch the theater. "You know what? Today I'm going to treat myself," Lucas announces, tapping the menu. "Wagyu beef. An open A Bordeaux 2015 life is too short for cheap food. Lobster for me, Bia adds, waving. And how about we start with Champagne's special occasion? We deserve it. One by one, they choose the most expensive item. They exchange knowing glances when they think I'm not looking. Mom fidgets with a napkin, complicit and uncomfortable. I hide a brief smile behind the rim of my mug. It hits me. Now I know exactly why they called me. Then I told the Mandrata that waterfront property, in this market, practically sells itself. Lucas swirls the wine, as if he's already practiced this gesture in front of the mirror. They signed on the spot. 2 hours. 2 hours of choreographed conversation that skirts my presence like water around a stone. Every time I open my mouth, Lucas raises his voice halfway, covering my words before they can take root. Nobody wants to talk about work at dinner. He cuts in when I start mentioning our expansion into Europe. He makes a gesture in the air, brushing me away like a fly. We're here to talk about family. Family. As if I weren't. As if what I've built is worth less than the storyteller's invented victories. I take another sip of water, mentally recording each pin. The waiter has already refilled my glass 4 times. My plate remains almost intact, and I look. I listen. I learn. You look great for someone who works hard, Bia says, scanning my face for any signs of tiredness she can comment on. You still until from that office? Without waiting for an answer, he dives into a story about the spa. Words like rejuvenation and self-care, oozing with trained fluency. My mother's hand touches my wrist for a moment. Let's just enjoy being together, he says, his smile twisted. It's been a while. Whose fault is it? I almost ask. I don't. I nod, cutting a tiny piece of my salmon. Lucas, tell Rafa that Italian guy we met last month, my mother says suddenly. The one from Glass Lamps Venetian. I support the fork carefully. Last month? The silence falls short and heavy. We try to do that every month, explains Bia, examining her nails. Family dinner, tradition. Tradition of which I know now, I say, feeling the ice settle in my stomach. Lucas clears his throat. You're always busy. Playing your little company, and so on. The decrease hits where it should. I straighten up an inch in my chair. Not too busy for family, if they invite me. My mother's eyes dart nervously from one face to the other. More wine, anyone? Lucas takes the opportunity. Speaking of business, he leans in and the Rolex catches a reflection. The market is cruel. 3 business collapsed last week. Look direct for me. Not everyone is swimming with ease, right? I recognize the play immediately. Insinuated difficulty. Planting need. That one Mercedes, what you wanted. Maybe wait a bit, Bia says, placing her hand on his arm. It's a terrible time for a big purchase.
Turn to me.
I'm trying to change my Audi, but everything is very expensive. Even the basic models. My mother agrees with rehearsed pity and concludes. Rafa has been very blessed. The company has taken off. Ready. The arrangement reveals its design. Simple. Elegant. Transparent. The expensive restaurant. The extravagant orders. Stories of financial hardship punctuated by calculated references to my success. They didn't invite me to dinner. They called my wallet. The waiter approaches a timing perfect, bringing the leather folder with the bill. Lucas meets his gaze and makes a small gesture. The folder lands in front of me with a soft thud. I don't touch it. The silence stretches, heavy with expectation. 2,200. Lucas finally announces, leaning back with a triumphant smile. Thanks for dinner, Rafa, you don't mind, do you? We thought, since you're doing so well. All eyes on me. My mother's fingers twist the napkin without realizing it. The smile of foot cracks at the edges. Lucas exudes the confidence of someone who feels entitled. My phone vibrates in my bag. I look at the screen. Meeting confirmed for 9 p.m. Singapore closed. Come by the office to celebrate. Diane. The scene plays out in your head. Diane, my partner, staying up all night with me on the first big project. Miguel, from Dev, bringing soup when I worked with a fever. Sarah, from the legal department, who left the corner office of the renowned firm to invest in what we've built. People who saw my potential, celebrated my victories, and supported my falls. My chosen family. The contrast cuts like a blade. Blood ties, they do not guarantee loyalty, respect, or love. That is built, day after day. I take the bill slowly, examining it carefully. The table release, the air in a collective sigh. My mother's shoulders relax. Lucas's smile deepens. Bea adjusts her designer bag, already moving on to another topic. I return the folder and slip to Lucas's place. My voice comes out low, without tremor. I'm not anyone's ATM. The silence that follows is absolute. Lucas's face flushes. Bea's mouth opens, but no sound comes out. My mother composes herself first. Rafa, daughter, help them a little. We are family. Family. The word hangs between us, distorted. In their definition, family means I give and they receive. My success becomes common property. My hardships, only my problem. I look at my mother. Precisely because we are family, I deserve the same respect as anyone at this table. The tremor starts in Lucas's hands, moves up his arms, the shock often hitting the wall of my calm point 2,200 off, expectations crumbling before a simple limit. I get up. I grab my bag. Not in anger, not in a hurry, with the deliberation off those who collect, piece by piece, their own value. The bill is between us, imposing in the leather cover. Lucas stares at me, his face changing from mockery to disbelief as I don't reach for my wallet. The blush rises from his collar to his cheeks. You've got to be kidding, his voice booms, drawing glances. You earn more than all of us combined. I take another sip of the cave, tasting the bitter. This has nothing to do with who ordered what. Agent, I wouldn't have asked all this if I knew you were going to Bepity, Bea says sourly, the sweetness dripping from her voice. The diamond bracelet crackles with light as she points untouched desserts and the bottles are half full. My mother's hand rests on my arm, trembling. Maybe Vedat. You pay half. We can figure out the rest? The manager approaches, professional smile a little strained at the corners. Is everything okay here? I noticed a certain concern. The manager lets his gaze dart between our tense faces and the closed bill, his professional concern barely concealing his discomfort. Beneath my calm surface, emotions churn like a rough sea. Anger, deception, and a strange mourning for what this family could have been. We've been planning this dinner for weeks, Lucas confesses in a harsh whisper. You don't return your mother's calls. You're always busy. What were you going to do? Asking, I answer.
No manipulating.
Bea's perfect mask cracks a little more. You only show up at family events when you have something to gain. The accusation hangs in the air, heavy with irony she doesn't see. When is it hat? I was actually invited. I reply quietly. 3 Christmases in a row. Father's Memorial Day. Your housewarming party. I went, alone while everyone else took a pair, and they barely noticed me. My mother touches her eyes with the napkin. We just thought you wouldn't care. To help the family, he whispers. Things got difficult.
I didn't know how to ask.
Difficulties? I squeeze, already guessing. Lucas and Bea exchange a look. I lost my job, he says, staring at his plate. 3 months. The market collapsed. They laid off people in the office. He's been looking for it, Bea adds quickly. But we need to keep up appearances. You understand. I think about Rolex in his wrist. In the photos of Europath that Bea posted last month. In the designer bag posing on a chair, as if she were a guest. We maxed out the cards, Bea confesses, almost in a whisper. Everyone. The image closes. Appearance of prosperity, debts up to the neck, and me cast in the role of paprika. Memories come back that burn science fair 8th grade. I took first place with a solar energy project that I put together myself. My parents didn't go. They were celebrating Lucas for passing gouge brain the suffocation, graduation high school, speech off speaker and polite applause from the family, followed by a festival of praise for the cousin for being accepted into a state college with an average C. 2 jobs to pay for college while they posted pictures of Cancun. Sorry you couldn't come, Rafa, we know how dedicated you are to your studies. On the company's first Christmas, Lucas declared loudly to the whole family. I refer you playing businesswoman. I want to see when you get back to real world. Holiday gatherings where I arrived alone because work was overwhelming me, while others brought partners who were greeted with a party. Dinners where any advances I made were quickly dismissed with a change of topic. Remember Thanksgiving 2 years ago? I ask. Lucas blinks, lost with the detour. I had just closed the Westfield, doubled the company's revenue overnight. When I mentioned it, you said your words, "Nobody wants to hear from small company at dinner, Rafa." He was joke, he murmurs, looking away. And at the barbecue July 4th from Mom last year? I told you about our new classroom downtown. You said I was wanting to appear important and changed the subject Tokar and Bia. My mother shifts in her chair, never having defended me from these jabs. And now mine, small company, is used to ask money. I tap the cover of the bill lightly with my finger. What a coincidence. The manager returns, impeccable, but straight to the point. 8,000 apologies for interrupting. We have other customers waiting. We need to forward the bill. Lucas's frustration boils over. Okay, you've already done yours. Point. Then pay half. Bia starts typing desperately on her cell phone, asking Loanto friends. From the looks on their faces, the answers aren't good. No one answers. He hisses at Lucas. He pulls out his wallet and opens it as if gasping for air. Worn-out cards, documents, a small amount of cash. Despair flips through it with him. A membership card. A driver's license, a single 20 note. My mother opens her purse. Her hands tremble as she searches for a card we all know already burst. I'm sorry, ma'am, ventures the manager next door. I watch the number unfold. My gold coffee between their hands, on their shoulders, the weight of the trap they have set. And, as they rush to put out a fire that they lit it themselves, something shifts inside me. I put $5 next to the untouched cup. For my coffee, I say, and more 20 tiptoe our waiter. 3 pairs of eyes dart toward me, each with its own version of despair. Lucas opens his mouth, but I hold his gaze so calmly that the words die before they can be born. I'm just leaving each one bears the responsibility for their own choices, I say, looking at them one by one, without anger or triumph, just determined. We'd side. Agent Bank. I grab my bag and stand up. The tension that had been with me since the door melts away. I become more high, more aligned, like someone who finally lets go of an old burden. The manager clears his throat. Maybe they have somebody to call and settle the bill? Lucas's nostrils flare. He grabs his cell phone, pulls away stiffly, making a call that hurts more in Thepper than in any muscled. Food. He releases the diamond bracelet with hurried fingers. Then come the earrings, all piled up in front of him as if preparing to foreclose. Rafa. My mother stands up and follows me a few steps. Her voice drops to a whisper. Think better. Only this time. We'll figure something out later. I turn to face her. For the first time that night, my mother's face brings real emotion, not performance. In the grooves of the eyes lives fear, not just of the bill, but of I am going to lose myself. It's not about money, I say, firmly and gently. It's about respect. EUNOI will be used. Not even by family, mainly per family. She flinches a little, as if I'd hit her, but it was what needed to be said. In the ornate hall mirror, I catch my reflection in passing, back rare, to look clean. Perhaps for the first time in years, I recognize myself completely. Tomorrow I sit with Theme Team, people who values ideas, which collaborate instead of maneuvering. People who have earned my trust with consistency, not by genetics. As I reach the door, my mother's hand touches my elbow. It doesn't come out like that, please. Her voice is lower than I've ever heard it. Her eyes, so similar to mine in color and so different in conviction, beg me for a truce. I cover her hand with mine. The thin skin betrays the age. To be standard needs to end, I say, softening. I top chat, just the two of us, when you're ready. But with new rules, respect, true, and nothing off financial exploitation. She swallows hard and nods with an almost imperceptible movement. Me league when you're ready, I add, giving her hand a light squeeze before letting go. I push open the heavy glass door and breathe in the cool night air. Behind me, the drama continues. Ahead, a night unfolds, an obligation, a future recovered one limit at a time. I leave the door open, literally and figuratively, but only those who are willing to enter level floor. My heels click on the asphalt all the way to the car. The air outside is clean after the suffocation inside. The restaurant door bursts open behind me. Rafa. Lucas's voice bounces off the cars. I follow. The key is already in my hand. Freedom is 20 steps away. Don't you dare leave. His steps quicken. You are no longer part of this family. The words aimed to hurt, to paralyze me 0.5 years ago. Maybe they could. I slow down, but I don't turn. Look at me when I talk to you. I turn my body, shoulders square. Lucas's face is stained red in the cold light of the parking lot. Behind him, Food runs to catch up, her thin heel hammering the floor. Near the door, some customers stand, spectators off a gratuitous drama. Ungrateful of, he breaks off panting. Who do you think you are? Someone who just wanted one normal family dinner. I respond in the same, steady tone, while his voice rises a notch. Bia arrives, a little out of breath. You know that it's not about dinner. My mother appears in the doorway. Hesitant, I see the indecision in his body, torn between his nephew and his daughter. Lucas runs his hand through his hair, a gesture so typical of my father that for a second it disarms me. His face changes. Anger gives way to a calculated concern. A Mothras with medical bills that you can't pay for, he whispers. We weren't going to ask, but it's serious. I look past him to my mother, who doesn't meet my gaze. The last piece fits. Dinner wasn't just about pushing the bill on me, it was for face off a larger order. We would never ask if it wasn't serious. Bia softens her voice. Family helps family, Rafa. A passing couple slows down, pretending not to hear. I wait until they move away. There is better ways to ask for help than with manipulation, I say softly. If mother had health issues, you would be the first, namely. My mother finally approaches. The ruby pendant catches the light from the street lamp. They are only exams, daughter. Nothing special. The plan covers almost everything. Betrayal cuts deeper than Lucas's fury. It was in the scheme, using their own health as a bargaining chip. I take a deep breath, weighing decades of history against this moment. Mother, if necessary, real. We talk in particular.
Eu i helpui toate ver legitimate.
It's saw. Lucas bursts in. She can. I raise my hand, cutting. I wasn't talking to you. Bia takes a step. We are all family here. Support family is not of feed bad behavior, I reply. To arrive today and find out that I was assigned admits, not how family treats people. I take a card from my purse and hand it to my mother. Her fingers tremble. He calls me tomorrow.
Just you.
Then, to Lucas and Bia. Resolve the account off you today. You're kidding, Bia stutters.
No.
And, if mom wants to talk with honesty about health, considered help. But manipulation, no more. I turn to leave. I feel the weight of the eyes on my back. Oh, so you think that it is better than we do now? Lucas's voice echoes through the courtyard. I stop for a moment. I think. Am I better? With a functioning company and financial independence, it would be easy to believe that. But it's not about that. I cast a glance over my shoulder.
No.
Just different, and all good. The truth falls dry, like a stone in still water. Lucas opens and closes his mouth without sound. Bia collapses on a nearby bench, the facade dismantle. My mother stands in the middle, her eyes darting from me to them, balanced silent. Headlights cut the scene as a car enters, illuminating our theater for a second. Rafa, please, my mother whispers, without moving towards me. I nod once, accepting the choice without debate. My number's on the card. I walk to my car without looking back. The cold air fills my lungs, and I realize I'm not sad, I'm relieved. For the first time in years, I spoke my truth without apologizing. My hand doesn't shake when I unlock the door. Rafa? Maya, my director of operations, appears in the doorway. The team is ready. I head to the meeting room. 6 faces turn to me with something I didn't find at that restaurant table. True respect. Let's begin. The conversation flows at the pace of whoever listen and build. No one steps on anyone's words. Ideas are not diminished, they are polished. I didn't just build a company. I built a community. One of sugar, right? My mother asks, sliding her cup into the corner cafe. I shake my head. Her hands, steadier than they were a month ago, don't shake. We turn these meetings into monthly routine step by step. They hired me at the bookstore, he says, his pride showing. The manager liked how I reorganized the history session. That's great, Mom. She hesitates. I wanted to thank you. Ford and give up on Manhattan night. The memory of the restaurant flickers between us, a ghost that grows paler every day. I'm learning too, I admit, where it's worth investing my energy. Last week she came to my birthday, not in a pompous hall, but in the backyard of Eliza. String lights, the lasagna I love, my mom's brownies. She fit into the circle effortlessly. She laughed at the bad jokes of Jordan. He heard Kim tell of our stumbles in the beginning. For the first time, I saw my mother without the shadow off Lucas and Bea. The Lucas got a job in Hartford, he comments, on a Sunday walk in the park.
Sales.
He earns less, but it seems, I don't know, lighter? I agree, unsurprisingly. We kept our distance. Through it, I followed fragments. The profile of the Foodno show homemade food and trails close to home. No more labels and airports. The fall hurt, but it was necessary. He asked about you, my mother ventures. When he's ready for a conversation honest, he knows how to find me. I made peace with what I don't control, I add. Some bonds mend. Others don't. Both are acceptable results. At night, garlic and rosemary perfume my kitchen. Friends circulate, as if they know the way. My mother puts the rolls she baked in a basket, contributes no charge. The wine is already open. Eliza shouts, pouring. We sat at my table. Not the grand mahogany Lucas would have chosen, butchery warm, marked by soft scars from past encounters. Each scratch tells a story. Laughter, tears in a safe place, ideas laden to the night. As conversations intersect and weave together, I understand what exists here. Not the imitation-off performance dinner bond, and yes, something authentic. People who see Maine full, not as a source-offer source. Later, I walk with my mother along the shore near our house. The sun pours gold on the water. When she trips over a rock, I offer my arm without thinking. It's good that we found each other again, he whispers. Support without loading, I say, helping her cross the uneven stretch. Family's not just where you're born, I say finally. It's who you decide to become, together.